my CD collection, and we are on to the letter F. So starting off here with Fleetwood Mac. Now this one here is a compilation album. This is, what is it called? The Best of Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac. So this is all the early stuff from Fleetwood Mac before Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks joined the band. Peter Green, as you can see on the back there, holding an Les Paul. So he was the front man for the band, but he didn't want to call the band after himself. So he decided to call it after his bassist and drummer, which was, of course, Mick Fleetwood and John McVie. So that's where Fleetwood Mac came from. The earlier albums were very different to the later albums, the more pop-orientated stuff from the late 1970s, 1980s. But this stuff here is all blues, rock, hard rock. It's great stuff all together. Starts off with Albatross, and then it's got like Black Magic Woman, which of course was made famous by the Santana band. Need Your Love So Bad, which is a classic. My Heart Beats Like a Hammer. The Green Manalishi with the two-pronged crown. Of course, that was covered by Judas Priest. Man of the World. Oh Well. Rattleshake Snake. Merry Go Round. Another version of Need Your Love Tonight. They've also got Stop Messing Around, which has been covered by loads of blues rock bands, including Aerosmith, and then it finishes off with a different version of Albatross. But this version isn't actually available on Spotify. So there you go. That's another reason why you should have your own music collection, physical music collection, as opposed to relying on streaming platforms. But this is a great album. It's a great compilation album. There's great liner notes in it there, and a little bit of history about the band and who wrote the various songs, and also you see great footage and great shots of the band in the studio there as well. So yeah, delighted I picked this one up. Wasn't too dear, and it just gets the whole history of Fleetwood Mac. Then moving on to the actual band that people will be most familiar with, Fleetwood Mac from the 1970s. We have this one here, Rumours, which of course is one of the most revered albums in rock history. This was released in 1977. Secondhand News, Dreams, Never Going Back Again, Don't Stop, Go Your Own Way, Songbird, then it goes on to side 2. The Chain, You Make Love and Fun, I Don't Want to Know, Oh Daddy, Gold Dust Woman. Classic cover there with Mick Fleetwood and Stevie Nicks on the cover. Absolutely brilliant. I think this is a classic album, one of the best albums of all time, all clear, no filler. And then this one here I have from 1987, I believe. Yeah, so this is Tango in the Night. It's a little bit patchy. Another album from Fleetwood Mac, obviously. It's a little bit patchy. I really like Everywhere. I really like Little Lies. Big Love Is Okay. There's a few other hits on this one. But yeah, Fleetwood Mac were definitely on the wane at this point in time. And I think Lindsey Buckingham actually left the band shortly after this album was released. I have a compilation album here from Fleetwood Mac. It's a best of. I only have one disc and I've actually lost the outer cover. So that's why I keep it in this disc, but it's part of the collection. Moving on now from F to Foo Fighters. So I have the debut album from Foo Fighters, released in 1995. 30 years old this year. I think it's a great album, to be honest. Produced by Barrett Jones and Foo Fighters. Dave Grohl, of course, plays all the instruments on this album, with the exception of a part of one of the songs. I think it's Ecstatic or Watershed, one of those songs. Greg Dooley from the Afghan Wigs plays a little bit of guitar, but apart from that, it's pretty much Dave Grohl on the full album. So Dave on vocals, bass, drums, and of course guitars. And this was the first Foo Fighters album. It's got This Is a Call, I'll Stick Around, Big Me, Alone and Easy Target, For All the Cows. Absolutely brilliant. Great album, and great one to have in the collection. Okay, keeping with the Foo Fighters, I have One by One, which was released in 2002. This is, again, it's another hit and miss album. It's not all killer, no filler by any stretch. It's got All My Life in it. It's got Times Like These, and then it has some other classic songs there, like Tired of You, Lonely As You, Halo was a good one. But it's an okay album. It's not bad. It's not a classic by any matter of means, but there are some great songs in it, like All My Life and Times Like These are two standout tracks on that album. I have the live acoustic album from 2006 by Foo Fighters, Skin and Bones. This one's actually pretty good. I've grown to like this over the years. When I originally picked this one up, I didn't know it was a live acoustic album. I just thought it was their next studio album. But then when I listened to it first, I was a little bit disappointed. But over the years, I've grown to like this one. It was recorded and mixed by Nick Raskulinecz, who is a fantastic producer in my opinion. This one was released, what year? Does it say the year there? 2006, yeah. And we've got like a fantastic version of My Hero on this one, acoustic. A fantastic version of Big Me. Cold Day in the Sun, sang by Taylor Hawkins, is brilliant. February Stars, Times Like These, Best of You, and Everlong. Of course, a lot of these songs were made to be played acoustically, and they sound great on this one, Skin and Bones. Next one I have from Foo Fighters is Echoes, Silence, Patience, and Grace. So this was a single studio album produced by Gil Norton. So they brought Gil Norton back in to record this one. It was released in 2007. It's got the hits on it here: The Pretender, Long Road to Ruin, but it's also got some fantastic deep cuts like Let It Die, Erase Replace. There's the Ballad of Beaconsfield Miners is another great acoustic instrumental song, and that one was recorded in tribute to some miners who got stuck in a mine in Australia, I believe, and all they wanted was some Foo Fighters on an iPod to get them through, and they eventually got rescued. And Dave Grohl met them and said he was going to write a song about the event and include it on the next album, and that was that song. So it's a decent album. Again, it's not, all killer no filler. It's patchy at best, but this one here is not patchy. Wasting Light, this is my favourite Foo Fighters album. I like it better than Colour and the Shape. I like it better than any of the Foo Fighters material before. It was produced by Butch Vig, of course, the producer that worked on Nevermind with Nirvana. So he came in to record and produce this album. It was recorded on tape in Dave's garage. There's a whole documentary around the band, the history of the band, but also the recording of this album. It's called Back and Forth, the DVD. I have it there somewhere. It's an amazing DVD. Gives you an insight into the songwriting and where the band were at this point in time and how they recorded all the different instruments on tape, even though it was in 2011 and Pro Tools was the medium of choice for recording. But this one from start to finish is absolutely brilliant. Burning Bridges, or Bridge Burning should I say, Rope, Dear Rosemary, White Limo, Arlandria, These Days, Back and Forth, A Matter of Time, Mr. Misery, I Should Have Known, and finishes off then with Walk. It's a fantastic album from start to finish and really gets back to like a heavy rock sound, kind of a alternative rock sound that Foo Fighters were known for in the 1990s, but this one goes above the 1990s releases in my opinion. And now the last Foo Fighters album I have in my collection is this one here. It's the second album that was produced by Butch Vig, that was released by the band. It's 2014, Sonic Highways. It's not a great album, to be honest. Production's great. I love the raw style on this one, but there's influences coming in from everywhere on this one. Something From Nothing is a decent song. It was the first song on the album, the first track that was released on the album, but there's a lot of songs on this that are hit and miss. I went to see Foo Fighters on this tour. I also went to see them on the Wasting Light tour as well, and I believe I went to see them on the Echo, Silence, Patience, Grace tour. But they really didn't do a great job on this one, to be honest, from a songwriting point of view. They also had guest musicians on each song, which I think kind of distracted from the direction the band were trying to go in. And as well, they recorded each song in a different city in the US, and you can see that on the front cover. They have representation from each of those 8 cities on the album cover. They released an 8-part documentary on this as well, but I think it was just overblown. I think it was great to have Butch Vig back, producing with them, but I think this effort is overblown and it's not a great album. Okay, moving on to Foo Fighters here. Moving on from Foo Fighters to Foreigner. So the first 5 Foreigner albums, I picked them all up in New York when I was there about 2 years ago. So this one here, the debut album from Foreigner, this is a great one. Feels like the first time. Cold as Ice, Star Rider. I think this is really a top-notch album, and I think the cover is amazing there as well. Sort of a sketch of the band, and up the top you can't really see it there, but it's the Foreigner logo, the first Foreigner logo. Of course, open up inside, we get that famous Atlantic Records CD pressing. It's also the same on the vinyl sticker, and I always loved that. I always thought that was fantastic from Atlantic Records. So that's the first album by Foreigner, which is an absolute knockout. The second one here is just called Double Vision. You can see pretty cool cover on it there, and then we go in, just give you some of the great tracks on this one. So Hot Blooded is a brilliant song, and of course we have the title track Double Vision, There's some other good moments on this album, but I don't think it's as strong as the first album. The third album by Foreigner is this one here. Of course, that cover was very controversial, I believe, when it was released. This one was produced by Roy Thomas Baker, and this one's called Head Games. So what have we got on this one? We got Dirty White Boy, Head Games, 17, songs like that. It's a decent album. We're probably going down a little bit, and I think they needed a little bit of a change at this point, Foreigner, and that's what they got with their fourth album. Arguably one of their best albums. Of course, there's a classic cover on this one, and this one they brought in producer Mutt Lange for this, so you can really hear a difference in this. It was Mutt Lange and Mick Jones actually co-produced this album. Apparently they fell out so famously and so massively that they never spoke to each other again after this album was released. But sometimes you need a little bit of that to create great art and create great music, and that's exactly what you get on this album. Nightlife it opens up with. Then we've got Jukebox Hero, Break It Up, and then Waiting for a Girl Like You, which was of course a massive hit for the band. Urgent is another great one. Luan, I'm Gonna Win. It keeps on rocking from start to finish, this one. I wouldn't say all killer no filler, but it's certainly very high quality, and it was released in 1981. So yeah, that's one of my favourite Foreigner albums without a doubt. After this, they had kind of done all their best stuff, and they released this one here, Asian Provocateur. I think that's their best album cover, to be honest. The F in kind of a cuboid kind of a shape. I think it looks fantastic. But you know, the songs just weren't up to scratch on this. There was one song which was probably their biggest hit, I Want to Know What Love Is. That was really far and above the best track on this album. It was produced by Alex Sadkin with Mick Jones, and it was released in 1984. But in my opinion, the wind had kind of gone out of the sails of Foreigner at this point, and they weren't the band they used to be. Okay, moving on from Foreigner then, we have Free. So I just have a compilation album from Free. It's just called All Right Now, after probably their most mainstream and crossover hit. But this is it's a 1999 compilation, but it's a great compilation of all their best songs, I suppose. If you're just looking for one CD that has as many hits on it, as many great songs from the band as possible, this is the one to get. And if I remember at the time, it wasn't very expensive. So it's got The Hunter on there, Wild Indian Woman, Worry, Songs of Yesterday, Woman, Mouthful of Grass, of course, All Right Now, which was the big hit, Fire and Water, which is another brilliant song from Free. Onto the second side then, we've got the Highway Song, The Stealer, Ride on a Pony, My Brother Jake, Get Where I Belong, Magic Ship, Solar Boy, Sail On, and finishes with Heartbreaker. Free were a fantastic hard rock, blues rock band from the late 1960s, early 1970s. And yeah, you know, of course, Paul Rodgers will go on to join and form Bad Company after Free disbanded when Paul Kossoff passed away. And yeah, he will become, you know, one of the biggest rock stars and biggest rock singers of all time. But I think Free were a fantastic rock band, and it's very tragic that Paul Kossoff passed away before they really became, you know, well-known band. And then I have this one here, The Fury's Finest. To be honest, I've got this. This is from one of my family members. Had it and, you know, just left it behind or something, and I have it here in my collection. But I'm not a massive Furies fan. Even though I'm Irish, I'm not a massive traditional Irish folk music fan. I'll just give you some of the tracks that are on this. The Green Fields of France is a massive hit here in Ireland. This will be one of the most popular songs on this album. We've also got the Red Rose Cafe, which is huge. And From Clare to Here, which is another huge one on this album. But I'm not a big Furies fan. I don't think I've ever listened to this album since it came into my collection. But there you go, that's all I have on the letter F. Not that many bands, but a lot of albums from some of those bands that are in there, like Fleetwood Mac, Foo Fighters and Foreigner. So I hope you enjoyed my review of the letter F in my collection. If you did, please stick a like on the video. If you could also subscribe and leave a comment below, let me know what's in your collection under the letter F, and let me know if there's anything in there that I should expand more on with those bands, or is there anything I should get rid of in your opinion. I would love to hear some feedback, and I will talk to you on the next one. Bye for now.